Guys, there were so many comic books out this week. So hard to choose what to pick up. But I did it, and I read them all. The information is all up here. Quick, while it's still there, new comic book reviews coming up right after this.
What's up, comic book fans? My name is Bruce Moreau.
And I am Stephanie.
What's up, comic book fans? My name is Bruce Moreau, and welcome to the channel, and welcome to Comic Book Reviews, my weekly series where I go over the comic books that I picked up at my local comic book shop. And this week was February 26, 2020, and guys, what a big week it was. If you couldn't tell by my dramatic intro, this week was a really big week. I think it was one less book, or one more book than last week, or the same. It was just 2 weeks in a row that we just had a ton of comic books. So again, this is kind of going to be a fast review series. I don't want this video to be super long. I'm going to try to keep it under 20 minutes if I can. So we had 14 books in total. 10 plus 4 is 14. Mostly Marvel and DC. It was a big Marvel and DC this week. DC week this week. We only had one indie, and I was almost not going to pick that up, but I did, and I don't regret it. It was a pretty good book. But let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into the reviews right after I remind you, are you guys subscribed to the channel? If not, what should you guys be doing? Hitting that subscribe button, that's right. And while you're at it, hit that bell notification so that way you guys are notified each time I upload new content to the channel, and also when I go live on Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern on Comics and Beer with my amazing, my wonderful, the incredible Stephanie, my amazing girlfriend. It's just a show where we go over comic book news for the week and drink some beers. It's a really good time. It's a great time. And also I go live on Sundays where I go through some old books of mine, digging for keys, digging for books that I might want to slab, because guys, look at this background. In that background, there's no slabs, there's no shelves with any books. They're coming. We're getting custom shelves made by my amazing brother-in-law David, and yeah, we're gonna put some slabs up and we're gonna put some books up, and it's gonna look great. But like I said, if you guys are not subscribed, get subscribed, hit the bell, do the thing, and let's jump into the reviews. Alright guys, first up is X-Men number 7. This is written by Jonathan Hickman and art by Leinil Francis Yu, and this book keeps getting better and better with each issue. I really enjoyed this issue, but first, the art is fantastic. Leinil's art is incredible from front to back. I'll show you a quick snapshot. Well, actually, let me go back to that page. That page is really cool. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. And they go over some really big ideas in this book about having a mutant nation, being able to be reborn after death, what that means as a society for the mutants, and what it means for their future. And there were some really big ideas going on in this book, and it was really enjoyable. But we get some really cool moments. There's a cool one, I forgot her name. Melody Guthrie. There's a big moment for her in this book. I believe she's the daughter of Cannonball or the sister of Cannonball. I'm not sure of relation there, but it was really cool. This whole scene with Apocalypse, really, really good. And I just loved the whole book, front to back. The writing, excellent. The art, excellent. Solid book. I would give this book a 7.5 out of 10. And is this a good jumping in point? No, because this is issue 7, and there's a lot that's happened building up to this issue. So it's not a good jumping in point for new readers, but you know, it is a solid book, and I highly suggest you guys pick this book up. It is really good. Alright guys, up next is Avengers number 31. This is written by Jason Aaron, and there's 5 artists on this book. Szymon, Kudranski, Oscar Bazaldua, Robert Gill, Mattia de Lulis, and Gerardo Zaffino. And that's the biggest problem with this book. Having 5 artists on this book was definitely a distraction. I did not enjoy jumping from artist to artist to artist, and there was no flow to it. There's no reason to it. So that was a big downfall for me. The overall story though, that was really cool. I did enjoy the interaction with Tony Stark being back in time, dealing with that, but also we find out with the villain, and we get a little bit of the backstory of why Tony is back in time, which is really cool, and then how Tony's father was responsible for it. And Mephisto was in there, so it was that part was really, really cool. I give this book a 6 out of 10, and is this a good jumping in point? No. There is so much backstory that you need to know before jumping into this issue that this is not a good jumping in point. Again, it's issue 31, guys, 31. But overall, decent book, not a good jumping in point, and yeah, that's my review for this book. Review! Alright guys, up next is X-Force number 8. This is written by Benjamin Percey and art by Oscar Bazaldua. And overall, this was an okay book. Wasn't great, wasn't terrible. The art was so-so. I'm not a huge fan of Oscar Bazaldula's art. It's not terrible by no means. It's not fantastic. And I want fantastic on my books, guys. I want fantastic. And this story was kind of blah. This continues the whole Domino hunting down the people who basically kidnapped her and stole her DNA and stole her skin, and they grafted her on humans, and it's giving those humans certain her powers. And there's this whole love story that's kind of being forced with Domino and Colossus. It just feels forced. And overall, it was just okay. The story really wasn't that interesting. It didn't really go that far. And yeah, it was okay. That's why this is a 6 out of 10 for me. And yeah, is this a good jumping in point? No, because this is issue 8. And you definitely should have read at least the previous 2 issues to really be into this current arc with Domino and Colossus. So it's an okay book, not a must pick up. And yeah, that's my review for this book. Alright guys, up next we have New Mutants number 8. This is written by Ed Brisson and art by Marco Failla. First up, the art. I didn't love it. Marco Fafailla's art is not for me. It's not the worst, it's not the greatest, it's just, I don't know. We have art coming up that is absolutely amazing, and this is nowhere near that, so the art was okay. The story was weak. This is the best way I can describe it. It wasn't really that interesting. It wasn't very engaging. There wasn't a lot of depth and interest into it. It was just kind of very formulaic. That's the best way I can put it. Formulaic. Things happened at a beat and things finished. And there was a good little tease at the end, but again, that's kind of formulaic. So overall, I give this a 6 out of 10. Not great, not terrible. Is this a good jumping in point? No. Again, this is issue number 8, and this is basically the 4th issue of this team's book, so not a good jumping in point, but again, I don't know, do you really want to be jumping in at this point in New Mutants? This is very close to being on the chopping block for me. Alright guys, up next we have X-Men Fantastic Four number 2. This is written by Chip Zdarsky and art by Terry Dodson, and overall this book was decent. Again, it's these X-Men books this week. X-Men was so great, and this was just, ugh. The art by Terry Dodson's okay. Again, he's not one of my favorite artists, and it's not terrible, it's not bad, it's just not amazing. One of the books coming up, the next book actually, has amazing artwork in it, and it sells the book. This is just, I don't know, it's okay. Not for me. And the story is, again, okay. Everything seems forced in this book. I don't see the Fantastic Four doing what they're doing in this book. I just don't. I don't see them attacking the X-Men like they are. They've worked together so many times in the past. I see there actually being a conversation, and they're not. I think they're being ridiculous. So again, this story is okay, and Doom in this book, ugh, I don't know. Silly, dumb, I don't know. This book is not for me. I would give this a 5.5 out of 10. Is this a good jumping in point? With this only being a 4-issue series, it's not a great jumping in point. You should have jumped in at issue 1. If you still find it, jump in, fine. But again, 5.5 is really not a selling point for this book. I can't suggest you guys pick this book up. It really wasn't that good. And yeah, don't pick this book up, I guess. Alright guys, next up we have Giant Size X-Men, Jean Grey and Emma Frost, number 1. It's a one-shot, and this book is written by Jonathan Hickman and art by Russell Dauterman. It was very interesting. This book you could read literally, I think, in 3 minutes if you really wanted to power through it, because there are 4 pages of text. And that's it. 4 pages of dialogue, and 2 of the pages, there's only 1 word bubble on each. So you can really power through this book, but to really get the meaning and the story of this book, you have to take your time. You have to enjoy the panels, and you have to enjoy Russell Dauterman's artwork. I enjoyed this book a lot because it's different. It's been done before. There's been books with no words, where it's just pictures throughout the book. But Russell Dauterman's artwork in this book and the way he does the panels, the way he told the story, it's just incredible. And Jonathan Hickman had to have written out each panel and the story and how it goes, and it's awesome. It's a really enjoyable read, or look, I guess you could say. I would give this book a 7 out of 10. I did really enjoy it. Is it worth the $4.99 cover price? I don't know. There is an interesting twist at the end. That was really cool. Thank you, Jonathan Hickman, for another great twist. But overall, this was a good book. Again, a 7 out of 10 is not bad. Is this a good jumping in point? It's a one-shot. If you got $5 and you want some beautiful artwork with Emma Frost and Jean Grey, definitely pick this book up. Otherwise, skip it, because again, it's just a one-shot. There is going to be some ramifications that are going to tie in, but beautiful artwork, cool twist at the end, worth my $5. Alright guys, we have my last Marvel book of the week. It is Ghost Rider number 5. This is written by Ed Brisson and art by Juan. And this was a really fun book. Ghost Rider continues to surprise me week after week, because again, I am not a Ghost Rider fan, but this is making me a Ghost Rider fan. This book is super enjoyable. The art by Juan is amazing, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is absolutely great. I really enjoy his art on this book. It's gorgeous. I think the way he drew Wolverine in this panel is a little funny, but the way he draws Ghost Rider is so great. The art, again, so the art is fantastic. The story, it deals a lot with Mephisto, and again, just like I said in Avengers, I don't really love Mephisto, but he fits in this book because he was the ruler of hell. Danny kicked him out, and now Danny is the ruler of hell, and there's a lot going on between there, so that was actually really cool. I don't really understand the reason why the Punisher and Wolverine are in this book at all. I think they are kind of thrown in here for like star power, but again, why not? It's crazy. It's Ghost Rider. There's demons. There's 3 Ghost Riders in this book right now. So yeah, it is just a really fun book. I would give this a 7.5 out of 10. Is this a good jumping in point? Being issue 5, no. But again, if you are kind of interested in Ghost Rider, definitely pick up this series. This series is making me a Ghost Rider fan, and that's the highest praise I think I can give any book. Is a book that introduces you to a character and really gets you interested, and that's what this book does. Alright guys, it is time for my DC books, and there were some bangers this week. And the first up is Detective Comics 1020. This is written by Peter J. Dasami and art by Brad Walker and Andrew Hennessy. And overall, this was a decent book. This was not the highlight of DC for me, but it continues to be an enjoyable read. The art by Andrew Hennessy and Brad Walker are just okay. What they do well is panel layout. They do such a great job with panel layout, and they made Two-Face look so grotesque throughout this book, and it was like consistent throughout the whole entire book. So they did a great job with that. But overall, the artwork, again, it isn't my favorite. The story overall was very formulaic. It was, like I said, Detective Comics is for those people who just want a simple story. They want bang, 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 bang. And it's simple to follow. You know pretty much how it's going to turn out with a twist here and there. They're not looking for the big in-depth story which takes like 8 to 10 to 12 to 85 issues to tell. That's what this book is. It's a nice simple story. But the dialogue in this book that Peter J. Dasami wrote was excellent. I loved the dialogue by Two-Face. It was just, it hit the mark, it hit the head of what Two-Faced is to me, and that was really enjoyable to read, and that was the highlight of this book for me. Overall, I give this book probably like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. It's on the lower scale because, again, this wasn't all that great, but it was pretty enjoyable. Is this a good jumping in point? This is a great jumping in point for new readers because this is the beginning of a new story arc, and it's a great jumping in point. So pick this book up if you are interested in Batman and want just a nice, sweet, simple story. Alright guys, up next we have Batman Curse of the White Knight number 7. This is written and drawn by the great Sean Murphy. I say great because he is just crushing it on this book. So first up, art is spectacular as always. One of my favorite artists right now. I might say that too much. There's a lot of good artists out there, but Sean Murphy is really, he crushes it on this book. And what I enjoy most about his art is the character design. The way he just he designs each of these characters, especially with them kind of being Elseworlds tales. I mean, come on, check out this Azrael. It's so amazing. But some other highlights of this book is the detail that Sean puts into each panel, into each scene. It's just incredible. You really have to take time and look over each panel because you get so much information in them, and if you go too fast, you're gonna miss some really cool stuff. Next is the budding relationship between Harley Quinn and Batman. That's right, Harley Quinn and Batman got a little thing going on, and it's amazing. I also love the mystery that is unfolding of Edmund Wayne and what that means for Batman and his family and the future of Gotham. Incredible. I also love the consequences that the Batman figuring out that mystery, what it means for him, what it means for Gotham, what it means for everything. That part was just so good in this book. So all those things said, obviously I'm gushing over this book. This book is an 8.5 out of 10. Incredible read. You guys have to be reading Sean Murphy's Batman. It's so good. Is this a good jumping in point? No, this is issue number 7. There's only one issue left, guys. One issue, and then we're done. So yeah, you guys have to be picking this book up. There was a cover B with Harley on it that I almost picked up. I almost cover B, but I stuck with cover A, almost like I always do. But so good, guys. You have to be picking this book up. It's so good. All right, guys. Up next, we have the Batman Superman number 7. This is written by Joshua Williamson and art by Nick Derington. And first off, the art. Nick Derington's art is so gorgeous. It is just, I don't know. I love this artwork. It's like a little bit Frank Quietly, and a little bit his own thing. It is gorgeous. It is detailed. It is just exquisite. It is so on point. I love Nick Derington's art. So obviously, first up, art, gorgeous. The story, Joshua has done a fantastic job on this book. I don't like his flash run. I don't. I tried so many times to really get into that run. I don't like it. But this, I absolutely love. I loved the first 6 issues with the Batman Who Laughs. So good. I really enjoyed this issue. There was a few points that seemed a little corny, but it's okay. It's okay to be a little corny, especially coming out of the hardcoreness that was the Batman Who Laughs. I enjoyed the intro with spoiler, Zod, and then we get a little more intro with Batman and Superman, like dealing with the aftermath of Batman Who Laughs, which was great. We see Ra's al Ghul, spoiler, so great. There's this whole moment where Ra's al Ghul thinks he's gonna get away, throws a smoke bomb, and Batman just flies through the snow and grabs him. So good, so good. This does feel like it's going to be like a little bit of side story before we jump back into the Batman Who Laughs, because I know that's going to be a big part of the summer. So maybe this is just kind of like a little side story before we drive back in or jump back in to the main stuff. But again, this is a really fun issue. It was just fun. It's okay to be corny sometimes, and this was a little corny, but still so good. Nick Derington's art is just gorgeous. I would give this book like a 7.5 out of 10. Is this a good jumping in point? If you are a new reader and you didn't read the previous stuff, you don't really need to have to jump into this. So this is a good jumping in point for new readers, and it was just a really fun, great book. Pick up Batman and Superman. You guys will not be disappointed. Alright guys, up next we have Justice League number 20. This is written by James Tynion IV and Ram V and art by Kyle Hotz. I believe I pronounced that name right. But this is a pretty good story. Definitely not as amazing as the previous 19 issues. I thought pretty much all previous 19 issues were just off the charts amazing. This story was pretty good. What I really enjoyed was the inclusion of this guy, Animal Man. I love Jeff Lemire's Animal Man from like 5 or 6 years ago. It was so good. It tied so well into Scott Snyder's Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is obviously a part of this team, and I'm glad that they're including Animal Man. Maybe he's going to be part of the team. That would be so great in my eyes. But overall, the story was decent. Again, I enjoyed the inclusion of him. Overall, the art, though, not for me. Kyle Hotz's art, it's just maybe a little over top, a little bit too cartoony, especially coming from the previous artist in this book. I'll put that name on screen. But a decent story. Again, I love that they're introducing the red, the rot, the life, or the circle of life, the parliament of life. There's a lot of good elements going on here. It's just, I don't know. It took a little while to get going, a little while to get interesting, and I don't know. Wasn't all there for me. This book, I would give a 6.5 out of 10. I'm hoping the next few issues are going to get better and better. But yeah, decent book. Is it a good jumping in point? If you have not read Justice League Dark up to this point, I guess this is the best time to jump in, because this is the start of a new arc. So yes, but it does. They do reference a lot of stuff from the previous 19 issues. So it's not the best jumping in point, but if you are to jump in, let's jump in now. Alright guys, up next is my pick of the week. This book is hands down the best book of the week. It is Suicide Squad #2. This is written by Tom Taylor and art by Bruno Redondo. And this is just, I can't say enough about this book. #1, the art is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Let's see if I can find the page that I want to show you guys. I'll show you this one, because the other one is not the page, but it is just gorgeous. It's a little bit of a spoiler in there, but you have to read the issue to really understand. But again, art, fantastic. The story that Tom Taylor is crafting is incredible. It is so good. There's so many twists. There's so many turns. You think you know what's going on? Bam! You don't know what's going on. Another twist, another turn. It is so good. And one thing that I didn't mention in the story that Tom Taylor's doing such a good job in is character development. There are, I can't even count the amount of characters in this book, but he has made it through 3 issues, made me care for each and every one of them. I am interested to seeing more about their past, more about their history, what they're going to do going forward, the team development, how is they all going to work together? I don't know, but I want to know, and he is doing just a fantastic job of hooking me. I got this big hook in my lip, and I'm just going along. Tom Taylor could hook me all the way down to Suicide Squad 22, 45, I don't know. It is so good. So yeah, this book is a 9.5 out of 10. This is almost a perfect comic book in my eye, because it is just, well, action superhero comic book. This is just hitting the head, that nail on the head over and over. So good. Don't want to talk about it anymore. That was enough. So good. Pick up Suicide Squad. You need to. Alright guys, my last DC book of the week is Leviathan Dawn #1. This is written by Brian Michael Bendis and art by Alex Maleev. And you guys, when these two get together, it's gonna be a good book, and that's exactly what this is. Alex Maleev's art is so great. I really enjoy him, and when he works with Brian Michael Bendis, it's just a good book, and that's what this is. The story is good. It's a little hard to follow at times. I read Event Leviathan. I think the best thing for me would have been to read the last issue of Event Leviathan before reading this book, because there's a lot of information they were referencing, and I didn't have ready in the banks. And yeah, I was a little confused. I'm probably going to go back and read that last issue and then read this again, and then a lot more will make sense. But they did a great job of introducing the new team that's going to be in this book. They gave each character a little time to character build, and it was just, some of the scenes were really good. The Manhunter Damien scene was especially really good. And yeah, I just love that all these characters come together, and they're not, it's kind of like oil and water, and they have to work together. It's going to be really good. But yeah, overall, this book is a 7 out of 10 for me. It was a solid read. I'm super excited to see where this book goes in the future. And yeah, is this a good jumping in point? If you read Event Leviathan, then yes. If not, you're definitely going to be lost, and this wouldn't be, you would just be lost. So if you read Event Leviathan, definitely jump in now, because this is going to be a great book. Definitely one of the better Brian Michael Bendis books right now, because there's not too many of them right now, in my opinion. Alright guys, my last book of the week is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Jenica #1. This is written and drawn by Bram Reveal, and overall this was a decent book. It was not as good as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 103. There was some interesting parts in this book overall. It gave a little bit of backstory and a little bit of history to who Jenica was in her past before she became a mutant, but there's a lot of stuff that I had no idea what was going on, because I have never read Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they referenced a lot of history in this book, and I was a little lost, I was a little confused. I think if you were in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles universe and you had all that information, this book would probably be a lot better for you, but overall, I would give this a 6 out of 10. The art really wasn't that great for me. Bram Reveal, it's just, especially coming from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 103. I forget who the artist was in that book on. I'll put it on screen, but he was great, or she. I shouldn't say just he, it could be she. But overall, this was decent. Again, this is a 6 out of 10 for me. Is this a good jumping in point? Yes, it is a first issue, but this character has been around for a little while. There's been a lot of history that they're just kind of touching on, so it's not the great jumping in point in my opinion. But overall, it's a decent book. If you're interested in Jenica, why not? Pick it up. I did. I don't regret it. It's just, I was a little confused at times. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for the week. Another huge week. 2 weeks in a row with 14 books. That's right, 10 and 4 is 14. So many books. If you guys made it to this point, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have a second, smash that like button. I'd hugely appreciate it. If you guys are not subscribed, make sure you get yourself subscribed and hit that bell notification. It just helps the channel, and I would really, really appreciate it, guys. If you guys agree with anything I said on during this video, or you disagree, mainly if you disagree, I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. If you guys are reading anything that I should be reading, let me know down in the comments below. I'm always open to picking up new books. And yeah, that's gonna do it for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.